Hi everyone, this is Steve Plock again, aka Plocko, coming to you from my office to bring you up to speed on iron technology. In this segment, we'll go over some of the new irons and the technologies and who they might help or benefit. So when you're ready to get out on the links this spring, you'll know which iron to buy from TaylorMade. So the first thing that you'll find is that we've introduced two new SIM products. SIM replaces M6, so some of the similar technologies. M6 had a speed bridge here in the iron, very similar to the previous generation. And just to review this technology, this is pinning the crown and the sole of the golf club, making it more rigid and stable so that we can have a very thin cast face. Last year in M6, the thickness of the face was 1.8 millimeters. This year we've been able to reduce it to 1.5 millimeters. So the advantage of that is I can get increased ball speeds, and without changing the loss of the product, we can get the club about a half a club in distance longer than the previous generation. So the other technology that we introduced is to improve the acoustics of the golf club, and you can see it in the bottom of the iron. It runs the length of the iron, and it's an acoustics bar. Maybe it's easier to see here in this cutaway. And this acoustics bar pushes up on the back side of the iron face to improve the feel of the iron. So when you hit this iron, you'll think that you're hitting a forged iron. So the feel and sound of the product is fantastic. So that's SIM Max. Then there's one other iron, SIM Max OS is a slightly bigger iron. If I compare the soles, you'll see that SIM Max OS, which is the one on the left here, or my left, is a wider sole versus SIM Max. It also has more offset, so if my misses tend to be to the right for a right-hand player, that'll help correct some of that. Anytime I get a wider sole or a lower center of gravity in a golf club, the trajectory will typically go much higher. So one of the things we can do with this iron versus SIM Max is this has stronger lofts than SIM Max. So SIM Max OS is about 1.5 degrees stronger in loft than SIM Max. So if you're looking for more distance, SIM Max OS would be the iron that would be for you. So if you have any questions on that, reach out to Paul as I move on to the next iron lineup, and that is P790. There's two versions. There's the stock version, P790, and then there's P790 tie. So the difference between the two is the 790 tie is a hollow-bodied iron that is titanium with a tungsten insert, which we'll show you shortly. And no different than the very first version of 790, this is a hollow, foam-filled, forged iron that we foam it through this set screw, and then we seal up the port with that set screw. So I'm going to show you the cutaways of those irons. And as I look at the original P790 iron, what you'll see is, again, the port that we injected the speed foam, which helps improve the ball speed, and that is this material here. It starts out as a liquid form. As we inject it in the port, it expands. And then you have a tungsten material that is in the toe, and that's to move the center of gravity away from the heel. If I didn't have the tungsten off-centered towards the toe, the CG would be more closer to the heel rather than right in the center. As I move forward to the newest generation, which is in my right hand, one of the things that you'll see is the tungsten shape changed to a narrow rectangular bar that's lower in the golf club. And you can see it right in the bottom here. It is still off-centered towards the toe to get the center of gravity in the middle, but because it's overall lower in the face, again, center of gravity getting lower, what does that tell you? It tells you that the trajectory is going to go up. So the other thing that we've improved is the face thickness of the new version of 790. It'll be really hard for you to see, but I'm going to try and get as close to the camera as I possibly can. In my right hand is the new face, and you can see it's much thinner than the original face. And by making it thinner, I can increase ball speeds again, so that if the lofts, and they are identical to the previous generation, we can get enhanced performance, and the new 790 is about a half a club longer. As I move to 790 tie, the benefit here, as you all know, titanium tends to be a faster material than stainless steel. It's also a lighter material than stainless steel. So I can do one of two things as I change material into titanium. Some manufacturers tend to get bigger in overall head size. That can work inverse versus metal woods, giving you more confidence in an iron. If you get the iron too big, it becomes maybe the reverse psychology where it's oversized. So how we compensate for it is this tungsten insert, so we don't have to make the head so large to offset the weight difference. But this tungsten insert is 120 grams. And you can see that its position is low and in the back of the golf club. What did we learn in the last segment? Anytime I get the center of gravity down in a golf club, whether it's a wood or an iron, the trajectory is going to get higher. So in this case, one of the ways that we can improve its performance, because the material is faster than stainless steel, if I didn't adjust the loft because of the CG placement, this ball or the shot that it would produce would be super high, almost too high, where we would lose distance. So this golf club is 1.5 degrees stronger than the P790. So that's 790 tie. This is like having a metal wood for every iron in your bag. This is the most technologically advanced iron we've made in our history at TaylorMade. I brought along one other friend, and that is Tiger Woods iron. And Tiger Woods iron, you can see the difference in size. Obviously someone's trying to get a hold of me here. Sorry. The difference in size of the 790 versus Tiger's iron is pretty significant. Your skill level with this iron is massive, meaning you need to be a very, very skilled player, because the overall size of the iron and its design versus 790 tie, as I try and get these in similar positions, not doing such a good job here, but the CG and the forgiveness quality of this iron is very, very small. Hence why Tiger likes to use it, because his centerness of contact is exact every time. Whereas you or I, who maybe has a point where they miss the golf club in the size of $50, we need more forgiveness here. But Tiger's iron is much, much smaller. It is really for someone that's in the low single-digit handicaps, but it is absolutely a beautiful iron. And that is TaylorMade's lineup in a nutshell. We look forward to seeing you out on the golf course this spring early on.